What's going on, everybody? Liam O'Reilly, Vermont Economic Realtor. Hope you're doing well. Have an article to share with you folks out of Redfin. Let's see here. The housing market has started to recover, is what they say. And this is something that I've talked about on the channel quite a bit, where it feels like, I'm busier than I was in the fall. The fall, there was almost no buyers. Now people are starting to come out of the woodwork. We're past the new year. People have a goal of purchasing a home in 2023, like I mentioned in my last video. But look at the data here. Tide shift. So this chart on the right, the red line there, is mortgage purchase applications. So you can see it's still down from a year ago, but it's up 28% from November. See that 160.5 number as the trough. And look at how it just shot up in the past few months. Mortgage rates have come back a little bit. People were I think sitting on the sidelines waiting for things to happen, waiting for the holidays to pass them by. And now that the holidays are gone and the market is still hot, but it's not as hot as it was a couple of years ago, they're back in the market and they're ready to go. So I Redfin is talking about how the market's starting to recover. Now, we talked about it in the last video that it's not every market. There are going to be some markets, specifically, most likely the markets that have a lot of new construction. Markets like Austin, Texas, or Las Vegas, Nevada, home markets where you could just, people were just building a lot of homes, and there's a lot more inventory. So although demand has gone up from its trough, it's probably there might not be enough demand to sustain the markets that have overbuilt or brought a lot of new inventory to the market. Places like Vermont and a lot of the Northeast, where building is a little bit more restrictive, are, in my opinion, more likely to see prices stabilize and things start to increase again. I've talked about it many times. There's still multiple offer situations going on here in Vermont, and Redfin says that that they're seeing signs of recovery across the nation. Now, something else I wanted to discuss is that new home starts are down. So I have here, this is a chart from the Federal St. Louis Federal Reserve. Make sure you guys can see it here. Yep, new privately owned housing unit starts. That's what this chart is. It goes all the way back to 1959. So you see the big drop here. It's declining from 2006, bottoming out in 2009, and then we've slowly built back up to there. But we're still at, historically low levels. Builder sentiment is starting to tick back up, but we're still well below the building that we were doing in 2021 and at the beginning of 2022. And if we look at the permits as well, they're basically at pre-pandemic levels, both the housing starts and permits. So as demand starts to tick back up here, and we know that supply has been the main issue over the past few years. There just isn't enough homes for the people who want to buy them. And if you watch my last video or one of my more recent videos, 28 million Americans have the goal to purchase a home in 2023. And first of all, there's not going to be that many transactions. There's not going to be 28 million real estate transactions in 2023. But beyond that, I mean, there's not enough supply, and then there's also not enough housing starts and permits being issued to satisfy that demand for years to come. I mean, we're still well under where we need to be. We've underbuilt for over a decade now, and now that interest rates are higher and there's more uncertainty with buyers in the market, new starts are down, and it's further exacerbating this inventory issue that we have. So I think with this Redfin article, with what they're saying, that, go back to the title, housing market has started to recover. We're up. Demand is up from the trough in the fall. The Federal Reserve, if you've watched my recent videos on them, there was a recent speech by, I think it was Chris Williams. I apologize. I can't remember the governor's name who gave it. But in that speech, he talked about how, he was trying to make it seem hawkish. He was trying to make it seem like the Federal Reserve is going to keep mortgage rates high, that they're not going to drop them anytime soon, and that they're going to stick with the plan. But then in the Q&A section of that same speech, he said that, basically if things go wrong and they need to drop rates, they'll do it like that. So it appears that their goal is to hike rates at a slower pace. We're approaching the top level of mortgage rates, the height of mortgage rates. Goldman Sachs is predicting that the 10-year Treasury has already peaked, that it peaked back in November, which is when mortgage rates peak. The 10-year Treasury and mortgage rates are tied very closely together. So, if mortgage rates aren't going to continue to rise, and potentially they could even drop in 2023 or maybe going into 2024, and now demand is starting to tick back up, even with the 6% mortgage rate across the country. If you're a home buyer, I think now's the time to get in. I think it is competitive out there, and it's not going to be easy. But if there's 28 million people who want to purchase a home or who have the goal of purchasing a home in 2023, and inventory is still low, new builds aren't coming to the market, not like they have been over the past 2 years, now would be a good time to get in, because where is inventory going to come from? Now, I think some of these boom towns like Austin and Las Vegas that have a lot of inventory that could build quickly, you're more at risk to see price declines in those areas. But if you're shopping in the Northeast or some of these cities that have stricter build regulations, and it's tougher to bring massive neighborhoods to the market, like here in Vermont. I mean, there are neighborhoods being built, but not at the scale that they were in Austin or Las Vegas. I think those markets, as interest rates have peaked and more buyers are coming to the market, I think there's a good chance that we've seen the bottom, at least for 2023. I mean, we'll see what happens with the Federal Reserve if they can do anything to kill demand in the housing market, but no signs point to a drastic increase of supply, and we're seeing demand tick back up now that there's more certainty with mortgage rates. So let me know what you guys think. All my contact information is in the description. If you're interested in buying or selling a home here in Vermont, I would be happy to help you out. Let me know what you think about this video. Leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. I do my best to reply to every comment. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys in the next video.